Ladies and gentlemen, due to the meeting prior to the pre-meeting running long, I was unable to set the equipment up and test my audio connections. As a result, approximately the first 7 minutes of the audio was not properly set up and can barely be heard. My apologies. We'll strive to make improvements in the future.
Happy to be. This seems like you perhaps is a reference somebody permanently or temporarily putting a line in your right. I don't know that that fits here, but it doesn't make sense to me that you got a cable guy putting a wire on that he's going to be somehow paying permit fees. But maybe that's what Max intended. The only time I've seen that concept is where somebody is actually placing utilities in Lord, right? Then they're occupying that right. That's interesting. But I don't know what that is. Just don't have to right. I mean, a lot of projects. Just like I don't think it's solved. I don't know what somebody would say. Here, like transient right now. So, right, so, and I don't know. Maybe
if you're not doing work, what do you?
Yeah. I don't know, we're not gonna vote on it till next month anyway, but we're gonna buy Max. Yeah.
Yeah, I would ask them because like I said, if you're not actually doing work, then what's the purpose for the permit?
I think we do need to have this process because of some of the utilities are getting. They're taking a lot of liberty with the streets, they're not patching the property and You know, we talked about that in a lot of the council meetings, so I think this is a good thing, but that one just left me scratching my head of what was that gonna?
Well, if they're boring along the streets and stuff and the right of ways and stuff, then it would probably be considered, you know, something that should be permanent there maybe. On through that, we're speaking on that.
If they're
If they're
boring.
boring along.
Yeah, but then they're actually, then that's
Yes.
working.
And that's where we run into up on Fountain Hills and up off of Pole Road, to where they were talking about the underground utilities coming through, because I think a lot of that was through boring.
Yeah, they weren't actually digging up the street or anything, they were digging holes in people's front yards and then going down outside of it.
So you're concerned about permit fees and, bonding is all covered, on D. I don't know what.
No, well, I guess what I was saying about the bonding and that, are we gonna have them post a bond for every little job if it's say Western Water? They probably dig up 15, 20, 30 spots in a year. If they had a bond that we could go to
Irrigation is once a year, then.
once a year.
Put it up once a year.
Yeah, so that makes a lot of sense.
Would you assess it, like, trying to like project out what their projects are to determine the bond, or is it just like a flat rate?
I think it
Kind
the
of
way
like
they were
gauge.
stating in there, they had to put up like a certain amount of money, like $1 million bond against, that would cover them for the whole year on, probably all their street openings, every street opening that they
You
would
can
have,
reevaluate it,
like Westview,
Yeah.
you know.
Because if you had a problem, then,
well, they may not
Yeah.
have much else for you.
yeah. So I mean, if everything's good, then I'm just scared. If there's a problem, yes, then I would say, yeah.
Or you would
assess it.
Thank you. We'll follow up with that.
Any other short questions on the agenda? Okay. Hearing none. Manager's report, please.
Okay, update on Summerfield sidewalks. Letters were sent to, not only the, 5 lot owners in the development, but also the end parcels on either side where, sidewalks going in. They were sent out last Thursday. People were invited to respond to me. I also sent one to the developer. I've not heard back from anybody. As it stands right now, Palumbo is still in Sturbridge. Once they finish there, they will move to Summerfield's development on Grant School, and they will install the sidewalks at our expense on the parcel on Secretariat and parcel on EMS Drive. There are 3 houses where they will install the sidewalk that are in the Summerfield's plan. We will then recoup the money from the developer. There is an empty lot there, and when that building starts, which apparently they're waiting for a permit from the county, an HOP permit for the driveway. Once they get that, they will start construction, and once they finish constructing that house, then sidewalk on that house and the adjacent house to it will be put in by the building. So hopefully it'll all be done this year, but we'll see. But definitely 5 properties, the sidewalks will be put in possibly by the end of September.
Yeah,
Or
I
at
was,
least starting by the end of
yeah, so they won't finish by the end of September, but, talking to them yesterday, they are nearing the end of Sturbridge group of work, so you'll see them there in the next couple of weeks on Grant. The HOP's been renewed, we waited to make sure they were gonna be there until we renewed, but that's all in place and they'll be ready to go. I did ask them to give us a week or so heads up, so Borough could also re-communicate with the residents if they're on their way. So they don't show up one morning and or turn up there, you know, what they see is their front yard.
I spoke with Mario Palumbo earlier today, and he said that he thinks he's not gonna be out of there, probably finished in Sturbridge within the next week. And the only thing we'll have to do is probably a little bit of backfilling behind the curbs and seeding and that, but he thinks he'll be done with it. From what he's telling me, he should be done within a week's time here, probably with the concrete.
Do they do the weekend work? They want
Yes,
to-
he was doing Saturday.
No.
I don't know if he did last Saturday morning.
As soon as I can get a date from them, I'd like to let the residents on Brainstorm area know.
Okay, I'll contact him tomorrow and make sure he reaches out to you.
Grant applications, CDBG applications must go through a council of governments, so we've applied a pre-application through the North Hills COG for a CDBG grant for stormwater work and flood control on Montgomery Road. For water projects like that, the CDBG grant covers 65% of the cost. So the grant application was for $214,520. If they're agreeable to let us proceed, we have until, I believe, November 15th to put in our full application for CDBG funds. We are in the pipeline for that right now. GEDTF grants, deadline is this Friday. I have it almost finished. It'll be going in tomorrow. We are making a request for $300,000 to help offset the costs of the Acorn Park project. That's the only grant we're applying for. GEDTF funds you have to use within a year. And we weren't prepared, I don't think, to start work on the Public Works Garage addition next year. So we can look at applying for that again next year. Local share account grants, deadline is November 30th. We haven't started that process yet, but we will be looking to apply for additional grants for other projects as well for that.
So the GETF, they review every year? The grant capability?
Yes. Yeah, that's gaming funds.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a pool available every year.
Yeah.
CDBG also is available.
Good.
2024 health plan mandated changes. Kathy attended a seminar today. We were informed that our Highmark premiums are going up 8.75%. Our UPMC premiums are going up 3.75%. They are also increasing our deductible. Our high deductible plan is currently $1,500 individual, 3,000 family. They're increasing that to $1,750 individual and $3,500 family. It's actually IRS is requiring an increase, and they're going a little bit above and beyond what the IRS is recommending. They are also introduced a new plan that would be a Highmark only plan. Right now, if you have a Highmark coverage, you can also utilize UPMC facilities. UPMC, you can only utilize UPMC facilities. So we're going to put together some information for council to look at the October 4th work session, so that we can decide exactly how we want to proceed as far as how we fund the deductible and whether we want to offer the new Highmark only plan and whether we want to consider changes to employee contributions to premium. So we'll have some information for you for the October 4th meeting. And we'll need to make a decision that night so that we can get information to our employees. So we can decide what how the plan was.
Disparity between the two major ones. 7.5.
Yeah, they've been actually, up until this year, they were going the same rate increases, but I don't know if that was part of the.
They had said all along they knew it was going to come to the point where.
They were playing nice for a while, but now they get.
Right,
would
and
check.
UPMC, because it's restricted to only their network, their rates are cheaper. The new Highmark plan, they're indicating those rates. UPMC rates are 5% less than the current Highmark plans. The preferred blue plan that is restricted to just Highmark is 10% lower than the regular PPO, the Highmark PPO plan.
Reach or yeah, that Highmark plan, the preferred PPO. Is that any Blue Cross Blue Shield or?
They had,
already did?
I'm trying to remember what they had said. I think you can use. They did indicate that it's also nationwide, so I think it's the same networks, but you cannot go to, other than emergency, you cannot go to any UPMC facilities. There's also other facilities like Heritage Valley, which you can. So,
No, there was not in the district plan, in
not
the general one.
I think I'd have to look at the sheets again. I'm not sure about Heritage, Heritage. There was a list for each plan I don't remember if they work in conjunction with Heritage Valley since they're independent at this point.
Yeah.
So,
We'll make sure we then include in the information.
Okay.
Questions on that?
Okay, Violytics Public Works Software, company, based in Europe, but they're trying to extend themselves to the United States. Mayor Keith came across them at the mayor's conference and, had a sales rep come out and meet with, Mayor Gary and I. It's software that allows you to, mount a phone camera in your car and, drive down the road, and it takes pictures every 10 feet. And also analyzes the condition of the, street itself, catch basins, manholes, those kinds of things. So that, you can do a better job of determining which roads need to be paved. We kind of explained that we do pretty good just driving down the roads. Hearing from residents. He originally said it would be $10,000 startup costs and it would be, 22,000 plus per year for a 3-year contract for the software. We got them down to no upfront cost and 12,500 per year. I'm not sure I'm prepared to recommend that we make this purchase. I just,
I'm with the state of the budget.
I don't think we have a need, frankly. I think we have a pretty good handle on what streets need.
Yeah,
And I don't think it's, you know, he said, well, you have the ability to sit here in this room and look at video and decide what roads you want to pave. But I don't think going out one morning and driving some roads is a huge lift for us, especially if it's 12,500 a year for
Right.
yourself.
Since I initiated this whole process, because I met them at the Pennsylvania State Mayor's Conference, I would agree with Reed. Probably should not pursue it. We get a good idea of roads just by our tour, and people calling us up too, right?
I think they very much wanted us as a customer in Western Pennsylvania, so they could use us as a reference. You know, they visited other places. I think they, like Keys Rocks.
Yeah.
Can't imagine it's like Keys Rocks times.
Place at Ambridge and,
Yeah, I mean,
Preston
they were
Township.
visiting, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they were able to do that.
$12,000 is a lot of money each year in lieu of donuts and coffee.
Yeah.
Well, it did have, it did have advantages to it, but,
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, but no.
Right.
instead of a road tour, we could use the software and see the roads right up here.
Do one other brief item. Mr. Sippel again reached out to me. And, I explained to him that, a job that size we need to put out for public bid and it needs to meet prevailing wage laws. And he said, well, what's the cutoff for public bid? And I said, I believe it was 19,100. Anything above that, you have to put it out for bid. Under that, you need to get 3 quotes. He asked if the council would consider reimbursing in 19,100. It's on my brain council for consideration. We'll tell him that it's still enough.
Do I see agreement?
Still new by me.
Yeah. Okay.
Refresh my memory, what was this about?
The curbs.
The curbs he urged.
Oh, Georgetown.
He explained that he actually went out of town while the work was being done and they got away from him. When he went back, he realized they did not for a whole lot more than they should.
Yeah, we keep it.
All right,
That's all I have.
reports. You then,
No, I'm good.
Dennis.
Yes, I received a text from Ava, Giacomo, 6:30. And she says, unfortunately, I'm unable to make the meeting again. Please send the council my regards and wish Julie the very best. That's all.
Once again, welcome, Julie. I don't know if you have any comments at this point, but you're welcome.
Just the questions. So as far as like the regular meeting agenda goes, when you introduce like an ordinance, you vote on it the next meeting? Is that how it works?
No, nothing further.
Luke,
Nothing on my end.
okay, I have, one thing, this is a reminder, next Wednesday, 6 p.m. We're having our emergency operations plan, tabletop, simulation. We'll be meeting at the fire company at 6 o'clock.
So it's 5.
I thought I had 5 on
5, okay. I think you're right. I think it's at 5 o'clock, yeah. I'm sending notes to you.
I do have a question about that. Mr. Fitzgerald, the gentleman who wanted to have the, ham radio set up at festival,
Yeah,
he said that, he would like to attend that as well. He said somebody from council had suggested to him, he may want to attend that.
I don't know that that's appropriate. The challenge is that our emergency operation plan itself is, a good portion of it is confidential. And one of the things I'm going to suggest tonight is that you bring that ring binder booklet that is the plan with you next week. Let me. Andy, you're going to be there. You're a radio operator. Any thoughts on that at all?
There is a certain amount of advantage to that. I am part of the amateur emergency radio group as well, and actually have credentials for the 911 center for that.
But on
I
the
don't know
other
if you
hand,
necessarily need them to be here for that.
the other hand, though, that certainly is one of the biggest challenges with when an emergency occurs, is getting the word out to the group, and maybe all Franklin Park, that is going to be impacted by it. I mean, and that's one of the discussions we had yesterday when we were talking about planning for this. How you get the word out of it. And I don't know, that may be an opportunity. But let me think about it. I'll talk to Tom Stein and see what he thinks. But along the same lines, we're going to meet at 5. That's correct. I do recall that now. There's going to be 3 hours. We're actually going to do a weather simulation challenge. And Tom Stein is going to lead it, and he will be bringing the scenario to us. We'll be meeting at the fire company in the training room, and you'll probably be stationed throughout the fire company to be part of the simulation process. So, Tom Stein, Dr. Stein had requested previously that those who hadn't done it go through the NIMS courses. I did it years ago, a couple of times. Probably refreshing would be good, but come prepared and here's your book. Take it from there.
Do we also bring laptops with us?
Good point. Yeah, bring your laptop. Yeah. And that will be a tool that we will use, and maybe actually do some hookups. But one of the things that we will do is be logged into the fire company Wi-Fi, the private fire. So I mentioned this. Let me see. Okay, yeah.
Hey, John, would that be a good exercise for a junior council person to sit through, your opinion?
Sure.
When is that, next week?
Next Wednesday at 5 o'clock. Yeah.
At the fire company.
Okay.
The fire company.
Main station, 2360 Rochester Road. So should be interesting for sure. Will be exciting. Okay. I don't believe there's any need for an executive session tonight, which is absolutely wonderful. So any other comments or things that we need to bring up that we've forgotten at this point? I think meeting adjourned. We'll be back at 8 o'clock.